Good afternoon and welcome to the Hall of Fame corner of Dave Niehaus Way and Edgar Martinez Drive. This is the On Deck Show presented by T-Mobile. Now, here's your host, Aaron Goldsmith.
Aaron Goldsmith alongside Gary Hill as we welcome you inside the ballpark. The roof is closed. Guys are taking batting practice. The Mariners are back home for a lengthy 9-game homestand after a 3-city odyssey for the Mariners. They are happy to be back in the Pacific Northwest. As G-Man, it's good to be with you as always, my friend.
It's great to be here. It is great to see you, and it's great to see the Mariners.
It is.
It's been a long time. I was thinking about this road trip. This is the kind of road trip that at the end of it, when you wake up in the morning, you're like, okay, what city is this exactly? What time is the game? Your brain becomes mush. You have no idea where you are. You just got to get your bearings. So it's great to be back. It's great to see them back home.
For sure, absolutely. They've been gone a long, long time. Yeah. As we see Scott Service throwing some batting practice, as he does each and every day. Good to see Shed Long back with the ball club as he has returned. Dylan Moore has returned. We're seeing some faces that we had missed for a long time get back on the field for the Mariners. As tonight, speaking of one of those guys who makes his third start since coming off the injured list, Marco Gonzalez, Mariners opening day starter, is up on the hill. Scott was talking earlier that with his third start, they're hoping he can get to in the neighborhood of about 90 pitches or so today. So it'll be good to see Marco on the mound. And the way that the rest of the series looks for the Mariners against the Minnesota Twins as they start off this homestand. It is Marco Gonzalez and Quinta Maeda, who is fresh off the injured list himself. He is pitching tonight for the first time since the late days in May. So a couple of veterans going at it against one another. I couldn't believe, Gary, that this is the first career start for Quinta Maeda against the Mariners. Now, he's a longtime NL guy, so it makes sense, but I was surprised when I saw that.
I mean, he's following the David Price route, right?
Only Price was in the league for a decade before the Mariners saw him.
I mean, it is weird to think about how a guy, like, I've watched 100 times on TV. I guess I've never seen him in person. That's never happened.
Maeda had a brilliant season last year. He was the runner-up for the Cy Young. So the Mariners are seeing 1 and 2 in the Cy Young voting from last season in back-to-back days.
Along those lines, too, I was thinking about it.
Ichiro's here.
Yeah, there he is. Look at him. I was thinking about Kyle Seager, who faced Bieber for the first time this season along those lines.
That is wild.
Isn't it? I mean, Bieber's been in the league for a while, but I guess it's just when you play a team twice randomly during the course of the season in 3 games, I mean, you can miss guys from time to time. But it's pretty exciting, a chance, especially after the win yesterday against Bieber, double-digit hits, put some runs on the board, chance to beat these guys in back-to-back ball games would be pretty impressive.
How about Big Flexen out there? Jacking some balls in right field. What an athlete. As Flexen is up on the mound tomorrow for the Mariners. We saw Logan Gilbert yesterday,
duo.
who was dynamite, and it's a great duo.
That's a couple of back-to-back pretty great starts they put together.
And for Logan, I mean, that was the crescendo point so far in the young Major League career of Logan Gilbert. There's a lot more to go this year and obviously the rest of the way for Logan. But, I mean, we've seen things building as we see a former Mariner up on the mound tomorrow for the Twins, Jay Happ, who's had a rough go this year. Flexen will be on the other side. But, man, that was everything that you knew he could do and you were hoping to see him start to do, like the changeup in particular, fastball at the top of the zone. Logan was just dynamite.
He was outstanding. It felt like so far we've seen him this year, he's kind of stair-stepped. These small strides every time we've seen him. Coming off his last start against the Angels was his best start, but man, he took it to a whole new level against Cleveland yesterday. As you mentioned, the fastball, he was spotting 94, 95, putting it where he wants, especially working up in the zone. His changeup was really devastating. That's the most we've seen his changeup in any start this year. He's really landing his breaking stuff, and he had so many whiffs in the game against Cleveland. A ton of swings and misses. Gave up 4 hits, but one of them I think was hit hard. The rest, like a check swing off the end of the bat against the shift kind of thing. He was so good yesterday, and it really makes you dream on the possibilities down the road of what he can be.
Flexen goes tomorrow, Marco tonight, and on Wednesday, it's another 7:10 start time against these Minnesota Twins. We'll be seeing Justice Sheffield up on the mound for the Mariners in the finale as we, some day baseball, I beg your pardon, 1:10. No. I think we'll make that a 7.
Yeah, it's 7.
We'll keep that a 7.
Yeah, look, just kind of squint your eyes a little bit and get everything fuzzy. It's a 7. It's a 7.
I like that. Boy, Ichiro's looking good. As always, prepared with the shades, even on a cloudy day. He's locked in, ready for all elements. I've missed watching Ichiro shag, by the way.
I know. All we've had to do the last few days is watch him run behind the stage at second base because of the graduations. He was here, of course, running. He was... next time I see Eric Swanson, I cannot wait to talk to him, as he was engaged in a long conversation with Ichiro the other day, and I have to know
what that was
I
about.
have to know what they were talking about.
Probably North Dakota, you think?
Well, ice fishing.
Yeah, probably a lot of ice fishing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually a great call. As we see Shed Long and the great Ben Van Houten. I'm going to say Ben is one of the longest tenured Mariners.
I think that's right.
Certainly one of the most valuable ones with all of his photography work. Ben, who we've had on Mariners Sunday Magazine before, which is a radio show. It's on Sundays, and it's 2 hours before first pitch time if you are ever inclined to tune in with us. Ben had never been to a baseball game before he took photos of the Mariners in the Kingdom for the first time on the job. Like, he had never seen baseball before.
And now he's seen a million games.
He's seen more baseball games than almost anyone other than, the coaches like Manny Acton. Hey, before we get any further, it was good to hear from the skipper, Scott Service, as it always is. And Scott's happy to be back home, as you can imagine, after that long three-city road trip. And let's take you down to the clubhouse and hear from what the Mariners skipper had to say before Game 1 of this series.
Great to be home. It was a long trip, three-city trip, and a couple of those in Eastern time zone. So guys will be adjusting their bodies back again, but it is good to be home. And with that, we got Marco Gonzalez on the mound tonight. We'll try to continue to build him back after being out for quite some time. This will be his third time back out, so I'm hopeful tonight. Maybe get him up to, I think he threw 70 pitches last time out. Get him up to 80, 90 pitches tonight. See where he goes from there. Hopefully that's 5 or 6 innings and go from there. So we play the Twins. We haven't seen them since early in the season. They got a really good offensive team. They hit homers. They got a lot of power in their lineup, and a couple of their guys that have been out are going to be coming and joining them on this series. So we'll have our work cut out for us there, but hopefully, I thought we had a nice offensive day yesterday. Number of guys getting opportunities and taking advantage of it. So hopefully that continues here on this homestand.
Always good to hear from the Mariners skipper, Scott Service. There is Scott, as he is no doubt happy to be home. Aaron Goldsmith and Gary Hill, glad to have you with us on the On Deck Show presented by T-Mobile. As you know, the All-Star game is quickly approaching. That means that All-Star Voting is well underway. And to talk to us about the All-Star Vote and how to vote for your favorite Mariners, Tyler Thompson, who's just a guy we found on the street, who's kind enough to, he's an All-Star enthusiast and had some Mariners gear on. And we thought, Tyler, you seem like you're pretty dialed in. And sure enough, we got him through security, brought him into the ballpark. Tyler, it's good to meet you. How are you?
And what'd you forget?
That you work for the Mariners?
I am the biggest fan of the On Deck Show. This is a true story now. I've never missed an On Deck Show. I haven't.
That is a true story.
Tyler is more than just a guy we found on the street, although I'm sure you could find him there on occasion outside the ballpark. Tyler is the czar, the godfather, the creator, the mastermind of the On Deck Show.
Yeah. Any more synonyms for me?
I mean, if not for you, I'm not sure this show takes flight on a regular basis.
He is the On Deck Show.
He is the On Deck Show.
Yeah, that's my title, Tyler Thompson, On Deck Show Coordinator. So, but no, I'm happy you guys are having me here. This is exciting to be able to talk about the MLB Google All-Star Ballot, which is going on now. So voting opened on June 3rd, right as the team hit the road. So we haven't had the chance to talk about the ballot on the On Deck Show or in Park yet. So we're using today as an opportunity to do that a little bit. We're currently in phase 1 of the ballot, which will continue through the 24th. And we just want to make sure that fans get out and vote for our guys. The first set of results came out today. So we saw Vlad Guerrero and and Mike Trout lead the AL, and then it's Ronald Acuna and Fernando Tatis from the NL, but we've got a handful of our guys that are in the running too, so just want to make sure that we get people to go out and vote while Phase 1 is still going through the 24th.
Tyler, you don't. Gary and I we're broadcast professionals, right, Karen? I mean, we do this a lot.
That seems. Yeah, we do this a lot.
Yeah.
Professional seems like strong language.
But I mean, Tyler seems pretty smooth. There's a lot of pressure talking on the internet, and Tyler's just taking this and like he does this every day.
I mean, I get to hang out with you. Like I said, I've never missed an On Deck show. I learn from you guys.
Based on how smooth you are, you clearly have not learned from us.
So it was just on the screen. It just went away. But if you have your phone on you, you can pull it out, point at the QR code on the screen, and vote for all your favorite Mariners players. You can vote for Mitch Haniger, who's in the hunt for the outfielder. So the way that the phases work is this first phase, which ends the 24th, will elect the top 3 position players at each position, 9 outfielders. And they'll advance to a second phase, which begins the 28th and will continue through July 1st. It's just 4 days. But by getting your votes in now, it ensures that potentially Mitch Haniger is one of those top 9 outfielders that we can vote on to be a starting outfielder. And like you said, Gary, there's no reason not to vote for Mitch. The numbers speak for themselves. I've got a couple for you.
Yeah, fire away.
Tyler's the numbers guy now.
This is good. I like this.
Again, and I learned from you guys. So
what kind of numbers are you going to throw our way?
They're, just the low-hanging fruit. Mitch Haniger leads all American League outfielders, 32 extra base hits.
Okay.
He's tied for first in home runs.
Like it.
He's second in hits among outfielders. And he's fourth in RBI among American League outfielders. Those are all-star numbers.
Oh, Tyler's an RBI guy, not RBIs. Interesting.
Is that true?
Is it run batted ins?
Gosh.
This guy.
Here we go. Now we know what we're talking about the rest of the show.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you for your information, Tyler. We'll discuss this off.
Sure. Yeah, I think we're running out of time already.
42 RBI.
Can we? Is it okay to have an in-depth outfield discussion when it comes to the All-Star game?
I don't see why not.
Okay, so
we have until first pitch.
Okay, because I've been thinking about this with Trout and Buxton both injured, and they were both having dynamite seasons, right? Like MVP type seasons until they got hurt. So you look at the rest of the landscape of outfielders in the American League. Cedric Mullins is a guy who is having an amazing first half for Baltimore. Aaron Judge, another one of those. And then there's this other group, right? And Mitch Haniger is in this next group. And I'm talking about like starting the All-Star game.
Right.
And Mitch Haniger is in that next group of guys that I think are deserving to start in the All-Star game, which is a big deal.
It is a big deal. We should note, by the way, what Scott said earlier today. Mitch is moving around.
Yes.
Better than expected. Not that he's running stairs, but he's moving around better than expected after taking that vicious foul ball off his knee in Cleveland. And Scott said that he is becoming more optimistic based on how Mitch was feeling today that he could possibly avoid an IL stint, which would be pretty surprising based on what happened.
I mean, I suggested he go talk to Yusei about whatever he did and whatever magic. It's the same thing, right? We see Yusei go down after getting hit with the line drive, and it's like, oh, no. And then he makes his next start, and throws 7 shutout innings. So, same thing, same reaction we saw Haniger go down. It's like, oh, this looks bad.
It's funny hearing Mitch talk about the All-Star game the other day before the injury. And how it was funny, and I understand he spoke by Mitch Haniger standards, like he really said some things, right? Because he was really honest, and he talked about how after missing so much time and coming back this year, he did not want to just be another player, another outfielder. He wanted to be among the very best outfielders in the game. And now, if you do that, where do you end up going? You go to the All-Star game, right? And so he did reference how it wasn't necessarily a goal of his to make the All-Star game, but he wants to be one of the very best outfielders in Major League Baseball. And if that is the case, you will be in the Midsummer Classic.
Yeah.
Right? And so it was hearing him talk about his desire to be among the elite is not a surprise based on how Mitch is wired. But it was pretty cool to hear him talk so kind of candidly about, hey, a lot of guys after missing that much time would want to just come back and contribute and be in the lineup on a regular basis, and like that would feel like enough. But not for Mitch, which is pretty cool.
I still find it amazing when you look at his year, and we watch him play now, and it's easy to forget how much time he's missed. But the fact that he stepped on the field from game 1 of this season and looked exactly how he did in his All-Star season.
Right.
I find that incredible.
Yeah, he looked
no rust, no anything.
He looked better than how he was looking pre-injury in 19.
Yes. From first pitch of the season.
Right.
Which is amazing.
All the more reason to vote. 5 times a day.
That's the limit? Now,
Fans can
if you have
vote.
multiple devices, you could go,
Yeah.
go 5 times on your phone, 5 times on your computer.
I
right?
mean, if that's the way you roll.
Aaron has like 7 devices.
So, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's Gary, not me. He has nothing to say.
I have
Go,
nothing.
continue.
Nothing important was coming next.
5 times a day, you
Yep.
can vote. A couple different ways, mariners.com/allstar. If you have the ballpark app on your phone,
Okay.
you can go there, click Mariners, bottom right corner. It's right at the top. And scan the QR code.
Oh, there it is.
If you're watching the On Deck show, if you're at the ball game tonight or any of these 9 games this homestand,
Aaron, you should do it right
we'll
now.
have that up on Mariners Vision. You'll be able to scan it, vote for all your favorite Mariners. And even easier, and this one's probably for Aaron, you can just Google players'
Right,
names.
thank you.
Just Google J.P. Crawford.
And there it is.
Leads the AL in defensive WAR. He's got an OPS north of 1,000 in June. Come on.
I tried really hard to knock Tyler off of his spot this whole time, and he's cutting through the wind, man.
Yeah.
He's a pro. Should we have Tyler on more often?
Yes. I mean, it's his show.
It is his show.
It's our show.
Well,
We all-
that's nice of you to say. It's nice of you to say. You should next show you should think of something else to talk about. Maybe we could revisit the All-Star ballot.
Sure. Well, yeah, absolutely. I'll have to look at the dates. We've got one coming up this Thursday. Another one that'll be hosted by Dave Sims. That's exciting. We could talk about some of our upcoming promotions here at T-Mobile Park.
Hey, you don't need to let everybody know on the production meeting here, okay? Like let's keep some things a secret and a surprise. It appears as though batting practice has wrapped up, as they say. I think before we let everybody go, I think we should play a clip from the latest Wheelhouse.
Yes.
Because we've brought up, I don't think J.P. Crawford has gotten quite enough run in this particular program, which is Tyler's fault because he does mastermind this, of course. But Tyler has informed us that we do have a clip from the latest Wheelhouse podcast, which we do many video versions of the Wheelhouse podcast, which you can find on Root Sports. And in the latest episode, we talked, among other things, about J.P. Crawford. Right now, this is among one of the better stretches of time we're seeing in the complete game of J.P. Crawford.
I think we acquired him just in hope that we would get to the point where we would be able to engage our marketing department in producing the JP PJs. That's
You had this all worked out.
It's phenomenal. Yeah, we knew this is how it would happen. But it's funny. I'm a bit of a nerd in the way I look at baseball's history and ask it to teach lessons about it's the future and and references. And about over the course of time, and this dates back to we'll call it since the Second World War. So a good sample size in history, like hard to refute the records over that period of time. About half of the hitters that come to the big leagues that establish themselves as everyday players, it takes them no time at all. Somewhere between they hit the ground running and 500-ish plate appearances, and they kind of are who they are. In extreme cases, it's immediate. In a slower case, it's 300 or 400 plate appearances, and they're there. The other half take longer, and it roughly you start to see them click, let's call it. And that click usually happens for guys right about the time they're 25 or 26 years old. That's where JP is. And I think we're seeing that click moment for him. He's always had good patience at the plate. He swings at the right pitches. He's got a really good swing. We've watched him physically get stronger. And now we're starting to see it manifest itself in some extra base hits. He's starting to hit the ball hard through the gaps. his ability to identify the pitches that he can pull has been, a big improvement. And I'm really excited about where his offensive game is. I know it hasn't shown up yet in raw OPS numbers, or it doesn't look wildly different in the sample that we're in 2021. But I do think that the way he's doing it and where he is in his career, just past 1,000 plate appearances, he's just playing his 26-year-old season. This is when guys generally click, and I think we're seeing that with JP.
Subscribe to The Wheelhouse wherever you get your podcasts.
General Manager Jerry DiPoto. Gary, where can we find the Wheelhouse podcast?
Anywhere you get your podcasts.
Is that the most oversaid thing
Yes.
that we say? I mean, along with pausing for station ID on radio,
I mean,
is that the most jaded thing that we can possibly
Yeah.
say?
what else?
What's the
what
better
else
way to
do we say?
Are
Are we going to list everywhere where you can get podcasts?
your podcast provider?
Yeah.
On your phone, on the internet. Just like if you know what a podcast
feel
is,
like
you
if
know
you-
where to find it.
Yes. If you listen to podcasts, you will find it.
Yeah.
If you don't listen to podcasts,
Yes,
you probably won't.
Yeah, you probably won't hear the show then. Okay, so let's start this over again. 3, 2, 1. That's the latest Wheelhouse podcast. You can find it wherever you. I did it again. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm in the rut.
I know.
You can. It's a podcast. You know where to get it.
Yes, that's great. I think you found it.
Okay. If you do want to listen from your computer,
Seriously, you should get the podcast.
Mariners.com/podcast.
Yeah.
You can find the Wheelhouse there, and you can find. I still call it the official. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, Mariners Pod.
Yeah, that's your name. Mariners Pod. The official baseball podcast of the Mariners.
Yeah.
Mariners Pod. With 9,000 episodes.
We're approaching 9,000. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so both you can find anywhere. Just walk outside, look around, and there it is.
Yeah.
It falls from the sky.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, J.P. Crawford, to kind of button up the Wheelhouse clip there. It's the best form of J.P. Crawford to date as a Mariner, as a big leaguer.
For sure. He is tremendous defensively.
By the way, they have to put us on the screen now because there's no more batting
BP's
practice.
ended. Yeah. The name of the show, it's over. Yeah. Now you've made it where only I am on the screen. Oh, there you are. That's perfect. That's the best camera shot of you I've ever seen. The one without your face. It's perfect.
You were saying, Gare.
I was saying J.P. Crawford is a Gold Glover. He's been, by the numbers, even better defensively this year. By the numbers, he's been the best defensive player regardless of position.
Yeah, it's incredible.
In baseball. You couple that with what he's doing offensively, especially the past 50 games, that is a really good baseball player.
Yeah.
He's been excellent.
Speaking of the All-Star game, Tyler's taking his headset off, but Tyler would say just Google J.P. Crawford and you can vote for him. Or on the app, Ballpark app,
Wherever you get your
wherever you
apps.
get your ballots, you can vote for J.P. Crawford. I feel like this has been
Good?
Yeah, it's been solid. It's like if you're an average big leaguer, you're a great player. At worst, this was an average on deck show. It's a great on deck show. Top 10. As long as we haven't done 10 yet, it remains in the top 10
For sure.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to tell the good people. I think hey, we're back on the on deck show on Thursday at 4:30 before the Rays come to town. So, would you like to add anything to that? Mike Zunino will be back here.
That'd be fun.
Be good to see Z.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nelson Cruz here this series. Mike Zunino next.
Very nice. Thanks for breaking that down for us, Gare.
Yep.
Okay, well, tonight's game against the Twins, 7:10 the first pitch time. 6 o'clock, the radio pregame show on the Alaska Airlines Mariners radio network. And at 6:30, the pregame show on TV, on Root Sports. And we hope you can join us, one of those places or the other. Gary, great work.
This was really fun. It was great to have you here.
Tyler, thank you for your contributions, always, especially today.
Tyler was the best part. by
Tyler will
far.
be hosting the show in 2 episodes. We were Wally pipped. Thanks for joining us. We will talk to you again on Thursday at 4:30, right here on the On Deck Show, presented by T-Mobile.
That wraps up this afternoon's broadcast. We appreciate you tuning in to the On Deck Show presented by T-Mobile.